So if you want to construct the orthocenter, then what we need to do, our end goal, is to create the altitude, which is going straight up with a 90-degree angle to the opposing corner or vertex of that triangle. So we would need to do that on two sides, 90 degrees through that point, and then maybe 90 degrees through this point. In order to do that, we need to kind of create a perpendicular bisector situation, but that perpendicular bisector situation needs to be through this point. In order to do that, we need to put the point part on that corner that you want to go through, and then you need to make an arc. And this arc needs to be essentially giving us the end points for the fish or perpendicular bisector. Now it can go through that corner, it doesn't have to. This one will most likely not. Sometimes this other edge right here will end up being outside the triangle, and that's okay. Once we get these two endpoints here, and here, that is where we're going to construct a perpendicular bisector with these endpoints. So we're going to take the compass, go a little bit more than halfway, make our arc, put it on the other side, and make an arc. If we have done this correctly, then this point and these two intersections should create a straight line that happens to be 90 degrees through the bottom side of that triangle. So I'm going to try that. I'm going to go through all three and get that 90-degree angle with the bottom side. And this red line that we just made is the altitude of that triangle, and we need to find the altitude of one other side. I am going to find the altitude of this side right here. So I'm going to do the same process, but I'm going to use this point right here. I want it to be perpendicular to this line through that point, so I have to put the pointy part on that corner, and then I have to make an arc here. So I'm going to make the arc here, and you may notice that this arc went off the page. That's okay. We just have to extend this triangle to get that to be still okay and have that a clear endpoint. So you put your straight edge on the triangle itself, extend the triangle a little bit more so that you get that endpoint there. You would like to avoid that situation if possible, but sometimes it's not possible. So we have these two endpoints here. We need to find the perpendicular bisector of those two endpoints, and then we would be able to get our altitude on that side. So we have it here, and on the other side. And we connect the dots with my red marker for altitude. So I'm going to connect these 1, 2, 3 dots, and when I do that, I would get my altitude on that side. 90 degrees, going through 1, 2, 3 points. And we have our second altitude. Where the two altitudes, the red lines, intersect, that is our orthocenter. Now, we got our answer. I do want to address the fact that you did not have to do this bottom part here. The entire fish idea isn't completely necessary. You don't need to do all of it, because if you had this point that you were going through and that point given to you, you could have just used these two intersections or the bottom two intersections. You didn't need the entire fish. So if you look at some other construction areas, you might notice that they don't include maybe this whole thing up here. They only include the part in the center. And that is perfectly okay. You just need to be aware that sometimes you don't need to do the entire thing that you're used to doing to still get the same result. All right? That's it for the orthocenter. It's that point in the middle where the two altitudes intersect.